Welcome to the Enhanced Living Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Kruger. I believe that we all have within us the power to be everything that we are meant to be and so much more. This show is a weekly dose of practical and spiritual principles, strategies, tips, and ideas to help you grow into the best version of yourself. Here's to becoming exactly who you were meant to become. I've been called a human Swiss Army knife because I'm a TV host, inspirational speaker and coach, live event MC and DJ, certified yoga and Ayurveda teacher, functional fitness enthusiast, author, husband, and dad with a voracious appetite for knowledge, and I'll be sharing real talks with successful people from all walks of life, spiritual teachers and masters, and experts in many different fields. I'll also share my own perspective that I've gained from over 20 years of diligent meditation and spiritual work so we can all experience enhanced living. Are you ready to evolve? Let's do this. Welcome back to the show. Today is Tuesday, November the 3rd. And if you've been listening for long enough, or since the beginning for that matter, you know that politically, I don't really get political on the show. I have my views. I think that most people might understand what those views are. For me, my guiding star is kindness and peace and love. Those are the things that I strive for. And so I wanted to just address right now why there will not be an interview posted today, more so just me kind of talking. And it's because I think it's really important to say a few things today. And also, I didn't want the conversation with the amazing individual who will be released on Friday to be swallowed up in Election Day. So, first and foremost, I just want to say that if you're listening from the United States right now, please go and vote. This episode definitely aired early enough for you to be hearing this and possibly maybe wondering if you're going to go out and vote, or if you're on the fence. I really hope you're registered already, because if you're not, it's too late. But if you're registered, get out there and vote. And remember, please be kind. There is enough hatred and division and angst in this country right now that we don't need anymore. You have to be the change that you want to see in the world. I can't stress this enough. When anger and hatred are met with kindness, they tend to dissolve. They really, really do. Showing anger back or showing violence or aggression back only escalates the situation. And I can't believe I'm saying this on a day where we're voting, but things are crazy right now. And I just believe that we don't have to succumb to our basest instincts, okay? Understand that you are important. You have a say. And I know that it may seem at times like voting may or may not make a difference, but it does, and it can. And you have to get out there and make your voice heard. It is your civic duty. Now, with that being said, I know that this is sort of like a what kind of episode today, but I just feel like it's really important. Get out there, go and vote. If you want to listen to this while you're waiting in line, go for it. I just wanted to iterate at this point what your rights are and what the deal is while you're voting. Now, of course, rights are different throughout, or there are different things throughout each state, but there are universal rights with respect to voting here in the US. And so I'm going to list them right now and give you a few resources as to what to do if things go off the rails in any way. So let's start with this. If the polls close while you're still in line, stay in line because you have the right to vote. If you make a mistake on your ballot, just ask for a new one. They will give you a new ballot. If the machines are down at your polling place, ask for a paper ballot. There's nothing wrong with that. If you run into any problems or have questions on Election Day, call the Election Protection Hotline. If you speak English, chances are you're listening in English. It's 1-866-OUR-VOTE. That's OURVOTE, or 1-866-687-8683. If you speak Spanish, it's 1-888-839-8682. If you speak Arabic, it is 1-844-925-5287. And if you speak Bengali, Cantonese, Hindi, Urdu, Korean, Mandarin, Tagalog, or Vietnamese, it's 1-888-274-8683. Now, I just want to address, of course, a couple of things that might happen or could potentially happen if the poll worker says that your name is not on the list of registered voters. You are entitled to a provisional ballot, even if you're not in the poll book. After Election Day, the election officials have to investigate whether you are qualified to vote and registered. So if you are qualified and registered, they will count your provisional ballot. So straight up, what you need to do is ask the poll worker to double check for your name on the list of registered voters. Make sure to spell your name out for the poll worker. If your name is not on the list, ask if there's a supplemental list of voters. If the poll worker still can't find your name, confirm that you're at the correct polling place. So you need to request that the poll workers check a statewide system, if one is available, to see if you are registered to vote at a different polling place. If the poll worker does not have access to a statewide system, ask them to call the main election office. You can also call at 1-866-OUR-VOTE and ask for help verifying your proper polling place. If you are registered at a different location, in most instances you will have to travel to that location to cast a regular ballot. If the poll worker still can't find your name, or if you cannot travel to the correct polling place, ask for a provisional ballot. Now, also, if you're turned away or denied a provisional ballot, call the Election Protection Hotline at 1-866-OUR-VOTE or 1-888-VEIVOTA in Espanol. And I think I said that with a French accent, possibly. But either way, that's 1-866-687-8683 in English, or 1-888-839-8682 if you speak Spanish. Report your experience to local election officials. That's easy to find online. Now, what to do if someone is interfering with your right to vote? Now, of course, as you may have read in the news, there are certain people who are potentially going out to polling places to, quote unquote, I'm using air quotes here, ensure that people are voting right or whatever. They're not allowed to do that. So I just want to give some examples of voter intimidation. Aggressively questioning you about your citizenship, criminal record, or any other qualifications to vote. No one's allowed to do that. Falsely representing someone, or if someone falsely represents themselves, rather, as an elections official, that's not allowed. Displaying false or misleading signs about voter fraud and related criminal penalties. Any other form of harassment, particularly harassing non-English speakers and voters of color. These are all illegal. Spreading false information about voter requirements. I need you to understand, you do not need to speak English to vote in any state. You do not need to pass a test to vote in any state. Some states do not require voters to present photo identification. Your rights. It's illegal to intimidate voters and a federal crime to, quote, intimidate, threaten, or coerce any other person for the purpose of interfering with the right of that person to vote or to vote as he may choose. What to do if you experience voter intimidation. In many states, you can give a sworn statement to the poll worker that you satisfy the qualifications to vote in your state and then proceed to cast a ballot. Report intimidation to the Election Protection Hotline. I've given the numbers already, but I'm going to give them again. For English, it's 1-866-687-8683. If you speak Spanish, 1-888-839-8682. So I just wanted to be clear on this because it's very important. If someone tries to intimidate you to not vote, report them straight up. You have a right to be there. You have a right to vote. You have a right to make your voice heard. And lastly, this would not be enhanced living if I didn't remind you, please remember to be kind. Stand up, go vote, make your voice heard, but be kind. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Together, we can create a better future. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Enhanced Living Podcast. If you enjoyed what you heard today, please share it with a friend. And if you haven't already, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast player. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, feel free to reach me directly at enhancedliving.net. Thanks for listening.